Tuesday, January 14th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce Plus. It is wonderful to have you back here. Thank you so much for coming on back. Maybe you're here for the very first time. If so, I hope you hit subscribe before the live stream is over. As always, we are brought to you by my good friend Ike of Ike Sandwiches, and we are also brought to you by BetUS, powering today's live stream. And man, if you wagered on the Warriors last night, you didn't do very well. And if you took the Vikings, you got clobbered. Wow, what a game last night. And we are starting with the fact that Sam Darnold, when he needed to prove himself the most, spit the bit in his two most important games of the year, which is rough for him. You know, Sam Darnold had a really rough night. For a good guy who had a very good season, but he went, again, right back to seeing ghosts in the two biggest games to make that pile of money. Now, well, look at it this way. He'll still get a pile of money, but he's not going to get a mountain of money. Sam Darnold cost himself millions upon millions upon millions of dollars with two flop performances in the two biggest games of the year for the Minnesota Vikings. That's a 14-win team. You know, that's not just Sam Darnold leading the way. You know, it's funny. The talent around Brock Purdy was always held against Brock Purdy, but it really wasn't held against Sam Darnold. You know, even though it's Justin Jefferson and Adai and Naylor and Hawkinson and a really good team and a very good offensive line and a really good defense, you know, Sam Darnold is about to play himself into a level of elite quarterback paychecks and play. And, you know, Minnesota's got to think about extending him with a monster contract. Good luck to the rookie who, you know, tore his ACL in the preseason. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, kid. Sam, the lights all came on. He figured it all out at once. Well, not really. And look, no quarterback will ever have a good game when he is sacked 9 times. 9 times. He got sacked 9 times, for goodness sakes. That's unsurvivable, basically. But man, beyond being sacked 9 times, he was shaky as hell in the 40 times they asked him to throw the ball. Now, obviously, that game got away from Minnesota early, and that they had to do something aggressive, but asking Sam Darnold to throw the ball 40 times in a high leverage game is just asking for it. He cost himself millions. Cheers, by the way. Sip of the day coming right out of the gate. There it is. The Los Angeles Rams defense is the biggest surprise of the NFL season that absolutely nobody is talking about. The Los Angeles Rams, having been kind of an afterthought all year long, bad start. You know, they beat the Niners early on, but the rest of their start was bad. The Los Angeles Rams last night 100% looked like a team that could win a Super Bowl because their defense was ferocious. And when Sam Darnold is dialed in, not Sam Darnold, pardon me, the other guy, Matthew Stafford, when he is dialed in, you just look out. You know, that guy can throw darts all over a football field. And he was on the money. And the Rams were on the money. And when we sit around talking about the best coaches in all of football, maybe it's because Kyle Shanahan had an awful lot of regular season success. And a lot of the conversation we have is through the prism of Niners successor Phil. Sean McVay, to leave him out of the top 5 coaches in football conversation, which he's always left out of, by the way, is probably the wrong thing to do. That guy can coach. Very impressive from the LA Rams, and no real business to record 9 sacks in the year you lose Aaron Donald. That's incredible. I got to get my Donald barometer fixed, but that is a really good football team that just became that really good football team seemingly overnight. And look, you know, you call it the Los Angeles Fires, the tragedy, having a good quarterback, getting healthy at the right time, but things are coming together. And that team is motivated, and they looked really good, like better than I ever would have dreamed they would have looked, even in a win over the Vikings. I thought that they could beat the Vikings, but, you know, break their foot off in the Vikings' ass. I didn't think that was really on the table, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, beat up, 9 sacks. Wow. That's a team that looked fantastic. By the way, Smiley Dan says that Posey guy. Yeah, Kyle Posey. Last week, he joined us on Friday, and he said the Rams could go to the Super Bowl. Stafford is by far the best quarterback still standing in the NFC, and there is something about that makes it's a lot easier to sort of nod in agreement with that today than when he said it. I think I was even like, whoa, okay, buckaroo. But yeah, Kyle Posey might have sniffed that one out first. My goodness. Look, getting back to Darnold, and I'm getting back to the Rams, really. The reason why they look like a Super Bowl contender is because they didn't just shut down Sam Darnold. They shut down Justin Jefferson and Naylor and Addison, and the rest of the Vikings just had nothing to do, nowhere to run, nowhere to go. They ran for about 100 yards, but it was never impact. And it was a really impressive game. It was a really impressive game out of the Rams. I didn't think they had it in them. And Darnold, unfortunately, I think gets recast as being back to a bridge guy. Is there any team in football that looked at Sam Darnold over the last 2 weeks and said, oh, here's the guy who will get this team over the top? Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. Sam Darnold just put together a 4,300-yard, 35 touchdown, 12 interception season. That's a really good football season. Had Sam Darnold done that in Chicago, he is the single greatest Chicago Bears quarterback that had ever lived. Sam Darnold put up really good numbers this year, but it is a sign of a things to come. Is it a flash in the pan? Is it the zenith? Or is it the start of something? A guy who finally figured it all out. Took years. He had to get out of New York. He had to get away from the Jets. He had to get out of Carolina. He had to get out of Brock Purdy's shadow in San Francisco. But he's finally seen the Matrix. Do you believe that? After the last 2 weeks, again, the Vikings' 2 most important games of the year were Sam Darnold's 2 worst games of the year by far. And I got to tell you, that is, correlation, causation. I mean, there is something to it. I think some guys show you, I'm good at what I do, but when the lights go on for real, it gets a little shaky. And when the lights go on for real, again, this is why, to me, Kirk Cousins has never been the answer. Because when the lights go on for real, Kirk Cousins has always gotten a little shaky. And Sam Darnold, I think, is that guy too. Great reclamation project. The guy you thought he was going to be after you watched his rookie year with the Jets and the guy that played this year are 2 different guys. And there's a lot to admire in that progress alone. But if you want to give Sam Darnold a 5-year, several $100 million quarterback to continue to be the Vikings quarterback or any quarterback anywhere else, I think you're out of your mind. He did enough this year to where Sam's never going to be on the breadline. Sam's going to be okay. He's going to make a really good NFL paycheck from some team, maybe even Minnesota next year. But the guy who's going to get the mountain of money has officially exited the chat. And that's too bad. It wasn't just him. That was a full-on, the entirety of the Minnesota Vikings, from linemen to receivers to defensive players. Everyone was overwhelmed. But at the end of the day, the only thing anyone talks about is what your head coach do and does your quarterback suck. So rough nights for Kevin O'Connell. Rough nights for Sam Darnold. It was a really rough night for the Sam Darnold truthers out there, for Team Darnold, Darnold Nation, who wanted to tell you how much better he was than Brock Purdy, how much better the 49ers would be in big moments if they had kept, Sam Darnold over Brock Purdy. Remember, the people who told you that Darnold was better than Purdy are the exact same people who told you that Trey Lance was better than everyone, which means those people who keep on telling you that really don't know what they're looking at. And that's fine if you want to keep consuming the content of people who got no understanding of what they're looking at. You go right ahead. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make him see what matters at the position of quarterback. And, if big, strong is all you think matters in quarterback play, you just don't know what you're talking about. The same people that told you that Kevin O'Connell was the best up-and-coming coach in the league are the same people telling you that Kyle Shanahan cannot coach anymore, even though we all know he can coach. Sometimes you have bad years. Sean McVay, last year, bad year. This year, can the guy coach? You tell me. Are you ready to write a referendum about every single team after every single game, thinking that what happened, today's result, is clearly the direction that the future will be pointed in forever now? That's lunacy. Means you don't even sprechen Sie sports. You don't even understand how any of this works. So, A+, Sean McVay. A+, Los Angeles Rams. Very, very interesting, man. Very, very interesting. We got here, Lembeck is saying, I'm late, but I'm confused. So Darnold, a couple of games is the end, but with Brock, it's every excuse in the book. Brock and Sam, at this point, are basically the Spider-Man meme. Brock Purdy has won 4 playoff games in the NFL. What are you talking about? When the big bright lights go on, we've seen Brock play well. And Brock Purdy, over the last several seasons, is a top 10 producer in a passing game in categories that Sam Darnold has never appeared in. They are not similar. The fact that you think they are similar means there is such there's silos of information, and you're in a silo of misunderstanding. So I don't think I've seen your name before, Lembeck is staying, but it's good to have you here. I hope that you go ahead and subscribe. This is a channel you need in your life. Thank you very much for watching. Hit like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of our sponsors for always getting it done, starting with the man who makes sexy sandwiches as sexy as one like that. Look at the Damon Bruce. Isn't that something you want to eat today for lunch? Look at me. Look at me in sandwich form. I'd argue that me in sandwich form is the best form I can take. Like, that's better looking than I am, for sure. Look at the rings. Look at the onion rings. Look at the steak sauce dripping off the side right there. That's nice. Did they set that up for the picture, or did that just happen all ooey gooey natural style? Get yourself to Ike's Sandwiches. Sign up for that Love Rewards program. You get a free sandwich when you sign up, and if you don't have an Ike's near you, it is time to move. It's time to think about relocating, or hopefully Ike will be moving near you soon. Get yourself to an Ike's as soon as you can. You will not be disappointed, and I promise you that, my good friends. You will not be disappointed when you walk into the Dubliner West portal and you say, hey, Kenny, Damon told me to say hello. You say, hey, John, Damon told me to say hello. It is a great bar, a neighborhood bar, a sports bar, an Irish bar, the best Guinness pull you're going to find in the city of San Francisco. Dubliner West portal. Love those guys. Absolutely love the support that they've given this channel, and we will be by tipping some back soon with them. And you got to spend all of those big earnings that hopefully you had because you took the Rams last night, you took the Toronto Raptors last night, maybe even tied them together in a cross sports parlay. You get, when you use promo code YouTube150, 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. So get it done, my friends. Again, thank you for hitting like. Thank you for hitting subscribe. Thank you for taking care of my sponsors. And thanks to all of my sponsors for taking care of me. We got Jacob saying that sandwich does look good. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. James Jones, our good friend James, I can attest. Damon's amazing. I'm telling you. John B. Vang. I need you as my publicist, John. When the great DB talks, you listen. I mean, it doesn't need to be like that, but just think about, I'm no Swami. I'm no Oracle. I think of the trash heap from Fraggle Rock. I'm Marjorie. The trash heap is spoken. Yeah. Come here for a little advice. Maybe I'll give you a little Calypso song on the way out the door. Again, we are back deep in Fraggle Rock in this house. And I'm all about it. I'm not even lying. When the kids put Fraggle Rock on, I put it on. We all sing the theme song together. And while Gobo's getting Uncle Traveling Matt's postcard, Daddy slips downstairs, ganja jar. Man, I go back upstairs and I really enjoy the rest of that Fraggle Rock episode. I think the key to raising kids the right way is to just be a little bit high. Just a little bit. Don't need lettuce on that sandwich. No, I don't even need the tomatoes on that sandwich. I think they put the tomatoes on that sandwich because it looks good in the picture. But I hear you, man. Get your vegetables off my sandwich. Muppet Show's greater than Fraggle Rock. Well, look, Tiger Tank, you can't have one without the other, right? You don't get to Fraggle Rock without going through the Muppet Show. So I hear you. All right. So where are we? Where are we here in this show? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the fact of last night. The biggest winners last night were, without a doubt, in my mind, J.J. McCarthy, Sean McVay and the Rams. And by the way, if that brings any solace at all to the, actual 15 Rams fans who live in L.A., heart just goes out for L.A. And seriously, without shitting on Rams fans. If that brought a little bit of happiness to the city of Los Angeles, which could use all the happiness that it can import right now, fantastic. It's hard to root, anyone in Northern California to be rooting for any sports team in Southern California. But even I, my son asked me last night when a game is on, Daddy, who are you rooting for? Who are we rooting for? And I told him honestly, I said, Jack, I really can't root for either of these teams because Daddy grew up a Bears fan, which means I don't like the Vikings, and Daddy covers the 49ers, which means I can't really like the Rams. So I'm at a loss here. But I said, the city of LA has been through a lot. So I guess we're going to root for the Rams tonight. And boy, I was on the right side of that one. Biggest winners last night, J.J. McCarthy and Brock Purdy. Two quarterbacks who weren't even playing. Again, Brock Purdy, the legend of Brock continues to grow as all of these supposedly better than him, would do more than him. You could believe more in them than you can in him. All of these quarterbacks that are supposed to be better than Brock keep on just falling by the wayside. There you go. Just sorry, everybody. Maybe they're not as good. Or maybe that's just a stupid discussion to be having. And it is. It's a stupid discussion to continue to have every single day over and over and over again. But J.J. McCarthy, who was drafted to be the future of the Minnesota Vikings, he sees a guy take over for him the minute that he tears his ACL. So I'm not going to have a rookie year. Hopefully Sam Darnold doesn't do anything to change their mind about me. And Sam Darnold did an awful lot to change the Vikings' mind about J.J. McCarthy, but then all of a sudden, guess what? The two biggest games of the year, he turned right back into a pumpkin, man. He did. So McCarthy is a winner last night, even though the Vikings did not win. And Brock Purdy, a winner last night, because everybody's better than Brock crowd is just going down in flames. I mean, imagine marrying yourself to the talking point. Hey, man, Brock Purdy is just garbage. Get rid of him as fast as you can. Yeah, do so at your own risk. You might get a Sam Darnold. Again, not trying to take shots at Sam, but boy, does he spit the bit when it matters. A couple of other things from the NFL. The Cowboys did let Mike McCarthy go after all, and the Chicago Bears want to interview him. Now, somebody could grow up a Chicago Bear fan. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want Pete Carroll to be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears, but I'll take Pete Carroll on a 10-year deal right now over Mike McCarthy. And that might be unfair because the truth is Mike McCarthy is not a bad vote. This is why you don't want to present slovenly. he says the day he wears a collared shirt on the air. No, look at me. I'm all dressed up, right? Actually, I got a dentist appointment in a little while, so I got to go downtown. So I'm wearing jeans. I'm wearing a collared shirt, all dressed up. Mike McCarthy presents like a guy who rummages through bins for sandwiches. He just looks like a slob. And I swear to God, if I'm Mike McCarthy's agent, I'm putting his ass on Ozempic and I'm teaching him how to shave daily. Don't walk around with all this gray stubble, Mike. You're not doing yourself any favors. I saw this on Twitter that proves Mike McCarthy needs a better publicist. It's amazing so many people look at Mike McCarthy and they just don't engender him in the same conversation as other good coaches. He is actually a good coach. Here's something you won't believe. Do you realize that Mike McCarthy and Mike Tomlin have both been NFL coaches over the course of 18 seasons? Who do you think's been to the playoffs more? Now, we all know that Tomlin's never had a losing season. Mike McCarthy can't say that in his 18 years of coaching. But Mike McCarthy's been to the playoffs 12 times in 18 years, and what do you know? Mike Tomlin's been there 12 times in 18 years, too. Everybody looks at Sean-Payton and says, well, that guy, he's kind of a wonderkin coach. He can come on in and change the prospects of your franchise. Look at what he did with the Saints. Look at what he's now doing with the Denver Broncos. Sean-Payton's been in the game for 17 years. He's only got 10 playoff appearances. How about division titles? Do you realize that Mike McCarthy has more division titles, 8, than either Tomlin or Payton with 7? How about playoff wins? Do you realize that Mike McCarthy has 11 while Payton has 9 and Tomlin has 8? Mike McCarthy's 11-11 in the postseason. Not bad. But I just don't want him. I don't want Mike McCarthy. And it's not because he presents slovenly, but he's a former Packers coach. And the Bears just, you got a young team. You just need young, new ideas. You get yourself someone who is excited to be new at this, not at the end of this. And Mike McCarthy is at the end of this. It is surprising that he was at the end of his Dallas tenure with all of the Jerry's still going to keep him conversations. What somebody in the chat saying what? Damon's got gray chest hair. Efren Williams. Damon's got gray chest hair. Gray all hair. Look at it. Do you think this stops at the chin? Everything's going gray. I can't help it. I don't care, by the way. I don't care. I'm a married guy. I got kids. I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore. But I'm not presenting slovenly, I hope. I mean, this isn't like Mike McCarthy level. I'm not even trying. I don't even have to look. Mike McCarthy's got ear hair. It's one of the promises I made to myself. And because of my wife, I'm able to keep this promise. She keeps me on check too. But I never wanted to be the old guy with the weird ear hair, the nose hair, or the Andy Rooney eyebrows. At a young age, I said to myself, don't be the old man with weird ear, nose, or eyebrowed hair. You can't. That's not only does that say, I'm not trying, it says nobody cares enough about you to even tell you got to clean that shit up. By the way, Rob, thank you very much for the super. Rob coming in, $6 going into the ganja jar. Thank you, Rob. Vikings will back to earth it a bit with J.J. McCarthy next season. I hope Sam Darnold likes Pittsburgh next season. Well, look, I could see them bring back Darnold, but it's not for some big mega deal. The same way that, Mike McCarthy probably did want to return to Dallas, but he just asked for too many years and too much. And, no, there's a next generation of coaches coming through here. And I'll tell you, if Jerry really is going to go into the Deion route, where do I go to bet on that not working? Where do I go? Do I go to Bet US? Is right there powering the live stream? Do I just go to Bet US and start fading the Cowboys with Deion? And this isn't one of those like, oh, people who did that in Colorado, that cost them money. I just think Deion is a guy who is not cut out for NFL coaching. I think he needs a little intimidation, a little swagoo, a little, I'm the guy that can make you rich, where everybody in the NFL walks around thinking that they're their own guy that can make them rich. Like Deion, I think, needs a little of that intimidation that college coaches had over their teams. Like Dallas will, I think, eat Deion up and spit him out. I really do. Plus, Deion is all about a swagger, and you better not swagger too much around Jerry and take the highlights off of Jerry, because Jerry's not going to like that at all. And man, was something interesting said by Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman basically said that Cowboys coaching job comes with more attention than it does a real chance to win. That's pointed, coming from Troy Aikman on the set last night. What was that, pregame ahead of the Rams and Vikings game? He was talking about that Cowboy opening and just said, whoever takes it, you better, like absolutely better, be very cognizant of not outshining Jerry Jones. Can you imagine Deion Sanders agreeing to go to somewhere where he has to give up being the center of attention? I can't. And I'm going to tell you right now, Troy Aikman saying like, hey, the Dallas Cowboys could have hired Dan Campbell, but then Dan Campbell couldn't be Dan Campbell, and the Lions are Dan Campbell. The Lions, by the way, for the first time in their franchise's history, are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. And on any day, any calendar year ever. Today in Las Vegas, the Lions are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. How about that? First time ever. You don't get...
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
From Dan Campbell, if he's head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You don't get...
Come on, Dees. Dees nuts.
From Dan Campbell, if he's the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You can't be yourself. You have to be Jerry's version of yourself. With the Dallas Cowboys, you have about as big of a platform to be working from in American sports. Like teams don't get bigger than the Dallas Cowboys. But everything you have heard from former players and coaches and everyone is just like the noise around this team is more important to the owner than the success that this team generates. And I think that there's an awful lot to prove that. There's an awful lot to look at and just say like, yeah, I see that every single time I look. By the way, Barry coming in with a 5 spot. Hey, I didn't know any better. It looks like you had a haircut. I did, Barry. Thank you very much, Barry. I got them all cut just this past weekend. Thank you. Also, Aikman actually nailed it with his comments about Dallas. I thought he did too. And look, Troy Aikman doesn't want to say anything bad about the Dallas Cowboys, but Troy Aikman's being honest. And I did. I got a great haircut. My girl, Teresa, who cuts my hair. Teresa, outside of one or two friends that I'm still friends with from college, Teresa is the longest platonic female acquaintance I have ever had in my life. The same woman has been cutting my hair for 17 years here in San Francisco. Like I got 3 haircuts in San Francisco before I met Teresa. And then it's just been all Teresa ever since. And the best thing about Teresa, by the way, she's available at the Intava Salon, very she, the Intava Salon on, what's that alley right down there in Hayes Valley? What's the name of her alley? I forgot the name of the alley. I want to give her a little plug here. I can't remember the name of the Intava is the name of the salon. Teresa Rice. I don't even talk to her about my hair. I walk in, I sit down, she does it, I get up, it's over. We talk about music. She used to work for Bill Graham, so she's got some old, great Bill Graham stories. We talk about music. We talk about the Giants. She's a huge Giants fan. And we don't even talk about my hair. I've given her 0 directions of my hair ever. Just she has her instincts. She sees it. She does it. That's my kind of barber right there. technically she's a stylist. To be a barber, I think you need a barber pole. There's no barber pole at Intava, which is its only weakness. There's nothing better than like, I'm here, just do it, in my book. It's going to drive me nuts. What is the name of that alley? Right over from Hayes. Anyone? Damon, platonic, not plutonic. Okay, platonic. Yes. Thank you. Efren, Damon's going to wear his dentist out with his NFL commentary. No, they put enough shit in my mouth. I can't talk very much. I hate the talkative dentist, by the way. I've never liked the talkative dentists. Like, they're all in your mouth and they're like, so tell me about your day. It's amazing how much of that they actually pick up. Like, I guess you speak, a fluent, you've got a lot of things in your mouth if you're a dentist. Ivy, Smiley Dan, as local as frickin' Coit Tower. Smiley Dan, thank you so much. That is it. Ivy, that's the name of that's it. Ivy is the alley. She's right there. Again, I love Teresa. Got to plug her. There we go. Ivy. Damon, would you call it plutonic? All my relationships are plutonic. That's great. Oh, that's funny. Plutonic. Goff, Ivy, Octavia. See, Barry knows his streets around here. By the way, it goes Goff, Ivy, Franklin, because Franklin and Ivy were twins in the Goff family. Didn't you know that? I think that's I love the original, how these streets were named history of San Francisco. I could do that. Sporticus says, a dentist speaks sodium pentothal. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Yeah, Ivy's near Zuni. You got to walk a few blocks to get from Ivy out to Zuni. But yes, the same hood. Same kind of mid-market-y type of place. Ravens, Eagles in the Super Bowl. My prediction, Alexander Boy Productions. You might not be wrong about that. You might not be wrong about that. Here's the thing. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl until they're not. That's the way I look at the AFC. The Chiefs are going until they're not. Even though I think the Bills absolutely could go, even though I think the Ravens absolutely could go, the Chiefs are going until they ain't. And to me, the one thing that I believe in my heart right now is only a fool would try to handicap the NFC. The NFC is wide open. Wide open. I cannot tell you who's going to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. It could be the Rams, like Kyle Posey said. It could be the Lions. It won't be the 49ers. Leslie saying, I really just want to see the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl. I love watching Josh Allen play. He's such a gunslinger. He's fun to watch. He is really fun to watch. There is no doubt about it. Having grown up in upstate New York, let me tell you, that region deserves a Super Bowl as much as Lions fans deserve a Super Bowl. I just don't know if it's going to happen, though. JJ Raider made me donate to the jar. Well, thank you, JJ, and thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Peer pressure is a wonderful thing when it's used the right way. Barry's coming in again here saying the Eagles are going to have a problem with the Rams. I'm going to tell you right now, that Rams team shows up, the Kansas City Chiefs would have a problem with it. Every team that plays the team that I watched with my eyes last night, the Los Angeles Rams were good enough to beat anybody on Planet Football last night. Anybody. God, they were awesome. It's one of the best games I've seen a team execute all year. Very, very good. Very good football team. By the way, the last NFL note that I have for you here on today's show, it's an important one. Are you ready? The NFL draft is in 100 days from now. 100 days into the NFL draft. NFL draft season is a season unto itself, but that's how quickly it's going to be here. We are 100 days from the NFL draft, and the amount of work that the 49ers have as a franchise in the next 100 days is monumental, because they got to nail this draft. It's got to be a good draft for the 49ers for them to have a good season. So big 100-day window has opened. Right now, the next 100 days are crucial for the San Francisco 49ers. And I love draft season. I really do. People get a little bit too crazy. Like, this is why I'm really happy that I work so often with Larry Krueger, because he is the most NFL draft cocaine sniffing dude I've ever met. He loves the NFL. I think Larry Krueger loves the NFL draft more than he likes the football games. I really do. I think he's such a personnel-driven thinker that I'll let him on Wake Up give you the ridiculous amount of draft information, which can't possibly be very accurate, because several hundred moving parts have to all fall into place for this pick to be that pick in the 5th round. What are we doing? But we'll go a few rounds deep, and we'll talk about some players that we want to see the 49ers target. We will get into the NFL draft, just not in a you might need to be institutionalized level of NFL draft coverage. I promise I will keep you from that. I will keep you from that. Tonight, you got the Sharks playing Detroit. By the way, SGA Sports Talk channel wants you to know the Sharks are playing in Detroit. Was at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Notice I agree, man. Krueger's really on it when it comes to the draft. He is. I mean, he's nuts, but he uses his lunacy in a good way. You know, he covers the draft. He doesn't go in and shoot up banks, so that's good. Again, really good coffee today. I was out of my my filtered soul, and I just had Jillian pick me up a bag of something from Trader Joe's, which was good. Good coffee, but I'm back to filtered soul, baby. So I feel like myself. Let's see. The Warriors. All right, here's the Warriors segment I don't want to do, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to invite you back for an 11 a.m. Damon Bruce show on the Plus tomorrow. My friend Cyrus Satsis will be joining us. Golden Days. We're going to do a Warriors weekly show tomorrow. I'll preview what I'm going to say tomorrow right here. Oh, wait, but Sergio Fernandez says, Damon, I want your expert analysis on those late round draft picks. Let me tell you, there is a backup right guard from Boise State who I just can't wait to tell you about. Smiley Dan. This is Santa Cruz Warriors, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's where we are, right? That's where we are. And Bazi Mian says, look, Warriors segment better than a Giants segment. I hear you. Erwin, you're right. Unfiltered soul. That's where I am. I got the fills coursing through me. The Warriors lost to an 8-win Toronto team that now has 9 wins because they beat the Warriors last night north of the border. And it feels like the dynasty's over, kids. And honestly, everyone keeps on talking about the big trade that's going to fix this. I don't think it's there. I looked at a team last night that was a lot more away from competing against real NBA contenders than a stretch 5. A stretch 5 doesn't fix this. Jimmy Butler doesn't fix this. Zion Williamson doesn't fix this. I don't think Kevin Durant showing up fixes what I'm looking at. I'm not sure there's a season-altering move out there. I think what you're looking at is a team that is on course to be the reality check no one wants to admit that is happening right in front of our own two eyes. And the beginning of the NBA season was nothing more than false hope. This is why you can't look at results in the first 20, 30 NBA games and weigh them heavily, because either you got a team that's trying really hard tonight, and there's nobility in that, but the other team might not be trying hard at all here. You know, every NBA team comes out for that opening night, let me show you who we are, really competitive game, and then takes the next 6.5 weeks off in terms of really trying. So, you know, the Warriors got off to a great start, and strength in numbers is back, and what the Warriors did was marry themselves to a concept that doesn't exist on planet big boy basketball. There is no, we got 14 dudes to play in any NBA locker room, not never. And for the Warriors to have tried to reinvent the soul of the game of basketball, which is it's all about hierarchy. And you got your alpha dogs on the team, you got your complimentary guys, and then you got the guys who are human victory cigars. You ain't playing unless shit went really wrong or things went really right. If your NBA team and your NBA coach is honestly looking to play 12 dudes a night, what you got is an unsustainable fucking formula in professional basketball. And the Warriors, they found that out quickly. And I think they would have found it out even if DeAndre Melton had not been hurt. Or DeAnthony Melton, excuse me. Been gone for, we hardly got to know you, Mr. Melton. They're built to be a small ball team, yet as a small ball team, they're decidedly slow. They're decidedly unathletic. They're a team that has supposedly got shooters on them. These shooters, everyone but named Curry, cannot shoot. Pajemski never found his stroke. Now he can't even get out on the court. Buddy Hield has turned into a frickin' pumpkin. And there is just, a team full of shooters that cannot shoot, that are small ball, therefore athletic and fast, yet they're not particularly athletic, nor are they fast. And it just feels like, so you're not big, which means you got to shoot, but you don't have enough shooters, and everybody's bad around the rim. I love Trace Jackson Davis. I saw a graph of how bad Trace Jackson Davis has been smoking his layups, and it embarrasses me. It embarrasses Indiana Hoosier basketball lore. And how are you going to be the third most scoring player in the history of Indiana University, but you can't hit a layup? Especially for a guy who's got no jump shot. Like, layups and dunks are what it's always been about for Trace. And he just has been smoking them, man. But I think more than anything else is you can see the Warriors completely losing belief in themselves and in their leaders and in the direction that this franchise is supposed to be pointed in. Steph Curry, just look at him. It looks like the life has been sucked right out of the guy. And Steve Kerr is snippier than ever, which means he's pricklier than ever. And when Steve Kerr, who is just wired like a robot to be a good Boy Scout at all time, is getting short and snippy, things are wrong. I think the Warriors are so deep in their own season that they now know there's really no way out of it. Even with the big trade that people still say is going to come and change things, I don't think it's going to change things that much. I really don't. I don't. By the way, the one thing that to me has been defined in just the last, game or two or handful of games or two, Jonathan Kuminga. This team is so lost without Jonathan Kuminga that should be all we need to know about Jonathan Kuminga's future on this team. Extend that guy right now, because with him, you were a pretty good basketball team. Without him, you guys look like the least athletic, least scary, least leaping out of the gym basketball team in the NBA. True blue forever. Kerr needs another bathtub interview. I would have kept it light. Sergio Fernandez saying, time to rebuild. I agree with you, and there is no better way to rebuild the Golden State Warriors than by trading Steph Curry. Again, I was the person who said, I'm the first person in Bay Area history who has ever said that sentence out loud. I said it out loud about 3 weeks ago. I'm going to start saying it a little bit louder each and every day. As much as it is unthinkable, and as much as it would be the definitive sign that this has all come to a halt, as much as no team wants to kill its own golden goose who lays the golden egg, this egg is going to be producing the worst breakfast going forward. So I think it's time for another chef. I hate to say it. If you're really asking what would be the best way to reboot the Golden State Warriors to guarantee that they're going to have a good 8-year run going forward, not come crashing down and taking the next 4 or 5 NBA seasons off, look, it'll never happen. But it's the one thing that probably needs to happen. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it. Nobody. But sometimes you need to take your medicine. I don't even know if one trade away. Zion Williamson shows up, he's going to get hurt within 15 games because that's all that has ever happened to that guy in his career. Vucevic is going to show up. I'm looking at a team that is a lot further away from an NBA title than Vucevic as a stretch 5. I think the most honest thing you're going to hear about the Warriors today, this week, this year, is that I like Mike Dunleavy, and I think that Joe Lacob is a well-intended owner who's produced an incredible amount of success, obviously. But there is a group of people, or one person, or a handful of people involved in the Golden State Warriors who really set this year up thinking that they could get away with basketball murder, that they could have this ridiculously, we play 15 guys a night level basketball team. Their models, their sabermetrics, their analysis, their bean counters, their Dorcas Malorkai, their grand idea, it isn't working. It is not working. And this team really believed this would work. They're wrong. They're wrong about this team working. So maybe stop going back to the people who are been wrong for several years in a row now about how this is all going to come together. And if that means less young Lacobs involved, if that means Mike Dunleavy is a short timer as a general manager, if that means Steve Kerr needs to go, then that is what needs to happen. Because doing the same thing over and over again is officially, it's got the Warriors on a fast track to absolutely nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And that hurts. That sucks. We got a really good today in history to wrap up today's show. We'll get to Club Plus a little bit later on this week. Maybe on Thursday we'll open Club Plus back up. But I got to get downtown and get to the dentist. But here we go. Today in history. Some interesting things happened today in history. First of all, happy birthday to LL Cool J. LL is 57 years old. Jillian and I went to the 50 Years of Hip Hop concert that came through with LL as the headliner at Chase Center a year ago. It was great. It was really good. And LL Cool J, if we're going to have an honest discussion about rap history, he is one of the most important presences and figures in music in the last 50 years. I say that without reservation. And I know that there were better rappers, Tupac and Biggie and lyricists and all that stuff, but LL helped rap grow. I mean, he was the first cool everything. Says right in his name, LL Cool J. Guy's done it all, and he's survived for decades. What rapper has been more significant for decades? I mean, it's Snoop and LL. They're the only two guys who are really like beating Father Time. And don't tell me Dr. Dre, because Dre ain't rapping anymore. He's a producer now. So happy birthday to LL Cool J. Again, an undeniable force in music over the last 50 years. Crazy respect. Crazy respect. And you are right, Barry Ford. Rock the bells. LL Cool J is hard as... That's unstoppable to this day. My radio, believe me, I like it loud. I'm the man with the box who can rock the crowd, going down the street with a hardcore beat when my JVCs vibrate the concrete. Don't make me. Don't make me show you how bad this white boy really is. And he's still cool in person. He is. I know Dre's still going, but when's the last time Dre like crushed a verse? Come on. So happy birthday. 57 for LL Cool J. You don't want to take your shirt off standing next to LL Cool J too to this day. That guy's still all yoked up. Today in 1690, the complete opposite of LL Cool J made a burst into the music scene. Today, in 1690, the clarinet was invented in Nuremberg, Germany. There is no instrument that indicates person holding it is probably a virgin as fast as the clarinet does. So there you go. What contrast? LL Cool J, and the clarinet born on the same day. And if that isn't opposite sides of the musical spectrum, I do not know what is. One 1690, the other 57 years ago. Today in 1878, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that race separation on trains was unconstitutional. I sure hope that Trump doesn't try to overturn that. Good luck, everyone. Today in 1954, Joe DiMaggio married Marilyn Monroe in City Hall in San Francisco, California. How about that happening just a day after we get Justin Verlander and Kate Upton, like a modern Marilyn Monroe, coming to officially announced as San Francisco's first couple? So Joe DiMaggio, Marilyn Monroe tied the knot today in 1954 in City Hall. Today in 1970, the Supremes finished. I told you today is an interesting day in history. Today in 1970, Diana Ross and the Supremes staged their final concert. Ross decided it's time for me to go be a solo artist, and the diva was born. And I'll tell you what, Diana Ross made a great choice. There's no denying Diana Ross and what she did by herself. But, man, when she was with the Supremes had some fucking hits, man. Ooh, my baby love. It's a great song. It's a great song. Baby Love by the Supremes. Great song. Oh, by the way, we got a nice super here from Ha Ha. Damon, just wanted to say I'm a fan. I love how you be realistic about Brock's comps to others. Everybody trashing him for a bad season, but wasn't saying he sucked when he carried us to that Lions game last year. Yeah, look, there's a lot of people who've just got a chosen agenda. Is LL still crushing verses? Absolutely. True Blue, he just came out with a song with frickin' Eminem like a month or two ago, and LL is crushing it with Eminem. Yes. Also, pink cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by buildings. You crush those, you can crush anything. What does LL stand for, Damon? Ladies love. Come on. What are we serious? Come on, man. Barry. Hey, I played clarinet in junior high. Barry, then you broke the mold of clarinet coolness. There's no doubt about that. Rachel, I rocked a purple clarinet in middle school. I feel attacked. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm guessing that was during your virgin period. I mean, middle school. I hope so, for sure. But there you go. No, you'll just have to wait. Love don't come easy. It's a game of give and take, Barry. Smiley Dan, it's how I like my tacos. Supremes. See, Smiley Dan, this is why we freaking love you. Why we love you. All right. We go back to the conclusion of Today in History. Before we conclude Today in History, I want to once again remind you that our sponsors are outstanding. Our good friends at BetUS, thank you so very much. Use promo code YouTube150 when you sign up for a 150% deposit bonus. I already showed you the sandwich earlier today. Look at me in sandwich form. You want a sexy sandwich? Get a sexy sandwich and get it from my good friend at Ike's. You get your Dubliner. You get your Guinness from the Dubliner and West Portal. My good friends got a great Guinness just waiting for you. Go in there and tell them that the Plu sent you. They'll know what you mean. Don't worry. Don't be shy. Again, thanks to BetUS for powering today's show. But I wanted to bring up Ike's one more time because Ike's has an awesome pastrami sandwich. He's got a great pastrami sandwich at Ike's. He's got a really good Reuben. Today, I don't know how we determine these things like, hey, it's National Hot Fudge Sundae Day or whatever. Today is National Hot Pastrami Day. Get yourself a hot pastrami from Ike's today for lunch on National Hot Pastrami Day if you are, if you're observing. We wrap up with 3 important television events that all happened today in different years, but all in the 70s. Today in 1972, Sanford and Son debuted on NBC. Did you know that Quincy Jones did the theme to Sanford and Son? That's a Quincy Jones song. Today in 1972, Sanford and Son debuted. Today in 1973, over 1 billion viewers in one of the first satellite broadcasts ever saw Elvis Presley's Aloha from Hawaii TV special. It was a big deal. Back in 1973, Elvis Presley coming back to the map. Speaking of Elvis Presley, Barry does live in Memphis. Tell Ike we need a restaurant in Memphis. I will. I'll tell you, he's getting closer and closer to you. He just opened up one in New Orleans, so he's in your region for the first time ever now. So maybe you will get an Ike's in Memphis soon. Pastrami, it's the gift that keeps on giving. God, man, I love pastrami. I really do. Pastrami, mustard, nothing else. It's all you need. Happy boy. Rye bread, mustard, pastrami, more bread, more mustard. Happy boy. Happy boy. Today in 1978, Fantasy Island debuted on CBS, and when I was a little kid, I loved Fantasy Island. It was a love boat, but no boat involved. It would just have C- celebrities rotate through with their relationship problems. Ricardo Montalban and Hector Villachet would solve it all by the end of the hour. Everyone left Fantasy Island happily in love. The plane. I mean, outside of Oompa Loompas, find me a more significant little person, midget character Okay, so I already came up with one. Tyrion Lannister, obviously. Tyrion Lannister is the great midget character in the history, and don't tell me that midget is more offensive than little person. If I were a little person and you called me a little person, I would tell you to go fuck yourself. I'd rather be called a midget. I think most of them would be too. Anyway, yeah, without a doubt, it is Tyrion Lannister, followed by a collection of Oompa Loompas, followed by D-Plane. I guess we got to give a little mini-me from Austin Powers fame there as well. And that's about it. How about that, though? 72, Sanford and Son. 73, Elvis Aloha from Hawaii. 78, Fantasy Island. And if you can't put all that in your pipe and smoke it, I don't know what else I can do for you. I want to thank you so much for watching today's show. Thank you for hanging out. We'll be back with a Wake Up, yours truly and Kruger at 9 a.m., co-streaming on both of our channels. On Wednesday morning, I'll be at it with Cyrus. On Wednesday afternoon, I'll be taping a little state of the state. Oh, God, I almost called them the LA Raiders. State of the Las Vegas Raiders. I'll be doing a little something with JT the Brick on Wednesday afternoon as well, and we'll turn that around for you to enjoy. I've been having some Raider requests come in saying, can you give us a little update as to what you think about what's going over there? Well, I'll go right to the Oracle himself, JT the Brick. He might have the world record for most amount of head coaches interviewed as a guy who hosts a head coach's show. I think JT the Brick will be going on his 17th Raiders head coach. That's got to be a record. That's got to be a record. That's a testament to JT the Brick's longevity with that franchise and how bad that franchise is at sticking with anything, apparently, that isn't JT the Brick. So I'm looking forward to all of that. I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've been crushing the thumbs up like button this entire time. Hopefully you're already subscribed, but if not, great chance to do it right here and now as we say goodbye. Thank you for watching. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.